Caribbean Week, March 27th to March 31st, and discover the perfect opportunity to obtain a second passport. Live in paradise, enjoy a tropical climate, benefit from tax breaks, and also real estate opportunities. With visa-free travel to over 140 countries, Caribbean Citizenship is the key to exploring the world. Our team of experts will provide you with personalized advice and a free assessment to help you make the right decision. Get the most up-to-date information on citizenship by investment programs through our social media channels, from exclusive interviews with experts to immersive articles and videos. We'll keep you fully informed throughout the Caribbean Week. Mark your calendars now from March 27th to March 31st and discover why the Caribbean Citizenship by Investment programs are the perfect choice for those who want to live life to the fullest.
Hello, welcome back to another Global Talks. Here's our specialist in all things Caribbean, Joe. How are you, Joe?
Good. How are you, Giselle?
Very good. So it's the second live this week, and we'll talk about Grenada today. But I also need to remind our viewers of our Caribbean Week, which is a campaign we're running from Monday the 27th until the 31st of March, where you will be able to learn all about the programs, the citizenship and investment programs of that region. Joe, we are here to talk today. We're here to talk about Grenada. As you know, Joe is a specialist and he will help us shed a light on how you can become a citizen of Grenada simply by making an investment. And you will also discover the amazing benefits that comes with this passport. But before we dive in, let me explain how the Global Lives works. So I will start by asking Joe some questions about Grenada and the citizenship program, and then I will open the floor for your questions during the Q&A session. You can join us live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And don't forget to like this video to help us spread the word. So without further ado, let's welcome Joe Rice. Thank you for joining us today, Joe.
Thanks again for having me.
You are welcome. And we were here yesterday talking about Dominica. So now we will talk about Grenada. And I'm sure before we start talking about the citizenship by investment program, we always talk about the country itself. So, and I'm sure you're asking here why Grenada. But if you visit Grenada in the West Indies, you will marvel at the beauty of this Caribbean island known as the Spice Island. It has unspoiled landscapes, stunning beaches, and the perfect climate. Right now, I will share a video with some visuals of this island that will certainly tantalize your senses, and then I'll give you some voiceover with some information about the island. So, known as the Spice of the Caribbean, it is the southernmost island lying in the eastern Caribbean Sea, about 100 miles north of the coast of Venezuela. The population is of just under 120,000 people. Grenada is a hidden gem with unspoiled beauty. Famed for its aromatic spices and organic chocolates, the country is formed by 3 islands: Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The Grenada experience beckons visitors with its 40 white sandy beaches, including the world-famous Grand Anse Beach, 15 breathtaking waterfalls, 5 chocolate factories, 3 rum distilleries, and more than 30 unforgettable dive sites, including the largest shipwreck in the Caribbean and the world's first underwater sculpture park. Grenada is accessible from major international cities, including Miami, New York, Atlanta, Toronto, London, Frankfurt, and of course, other Caribbean countries. Joe, so now let's move on and talk about the citizenship by investment program in Grenada. Can you explain how one can invest in a passport from this country?
Sure. So Grenada citizenship can be obtained in exchange for an investment in the country, which can be a donation to a government fund starting at $150,000, or the purchase of real estate from $220,000 US. So if you want, we can start with the donation fund option.
Okay, yes, I'm following. Go on.
So it's basically a non-refundable contribution to the Grenada National Transformation Fund, also known as the NTF. So the NTF was established when the CBI program was introduced in 2013. And that was to assist in boosting the economy in the country, in addition to securing resilience, diversifying the market structure, and increasing prosperity. So for this, the primary applicant must make a minimum investment of $150,000 to the NTF, or $200,000 for a family of up to 4 members. And an additional non-refundable donation of $25,000 is needed for every additional family member.
Okay. So just to confirm, it is a single applicant. A single applicant pays $150,000, or main applicant plus up to 3 family members, $200,000 altogether. Then for a large family, any additional family members will pay $25,000 each. So would you say, if everything that I said, if I summarize correctly, would you say that this is a cost-effective option for large families?
Yeah, that's correct. It's a good option for large families.
It's a good option. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Right. Okay, so we covered that. Now let's move on to the real estate option. Can you give us a lowdown on this route, please?
Sure. So there are 2 options that you consider if you're opting for the Grenada Citizenship by Investment real estate option. So option 1, for a single application, an independent investment into real estate and government-approved projects at a minimum value of $350,000 needs to be made. So option 2, for joint investments into a pre-approved Grenada tourism accommodation sector, a minimum donation value of $220,000 is needed per investor. So up to a total investment value of $440,000. So, and then the condition of the investment into real estate is that the investment must be held for at least 5 years if the buyer wishes to acquire citizenship. And I prepared a couple of slides I'd like to share with the viewers to help them visualize the options.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, so you can see there, single applicant, 50,000, main applicant up to 3 family members, 50,000. So it's explained there in the slide for you.
Okay. And then there are the government fees as well here.
Yeah, that's the government fees.
Okay, cool. So we talked about all this investment here. Kind of struggling to see it because it's quite small. But we've got so single applicants 50,000, and then main applicants up to 3 family members 50,000. Sorry, that's government fees. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, the
3rd family member 50,000 each. Any parent or grandparent under the age of 55. 50,000 each, and then any sibling after that 75,000. So we've got all these fees here plus the investment fees. Should investors also factor in the diligence fees?
Sure. I mean, we actually have another slide that sums it up quite nicely. So additional Grenada CBI fees will apply for both the NTF and real estate routes. So the due diligence fee basically is as follows, as it shows there.
Okay.
That's for both investment options.
Thanks, production. Now I can see it. So in case you are en route, so I'll tell you the main applicant is 5,000, spouse 5,000, family members age 16 or less 0, and that goes on. And so application fees per family member is 1,500 plus processing fees. Okay, fine. But just one thing, this is very helpful, and we've got all this information in our Grenada Ultimate Guide. So in case you want to see this this breakdown of numbers and go through each and every case. So now, Joe, shall we talk about the benefits of having a Grenada citizenship? I think that will be helpful for people to understand what they can gain from having a passport from Grenada. And let's start with taxes, shall we?
Sure. So citizens and residents of Grenada can enjoy an attractive tax regime of the island. So there are no capital gains, inheritance tax, or wealth tax on worldwide income or assets that's imposed by Grenada. However, it is important to note that some local taxation measures do apply. And so there are numerous facets to tax consideration. So generally, I'd recommend a call to discuss all of those, because there are lots of different facets to it. But just some of the, just to touch on a couple, for companies, there's a flat tax rate of 30%. In Grenada, VAT is 15%.
Okay.
Villa accommodation and dive activities are at 10%. So there's lots of different options and different sides to it.
Okay, fine. And then, as you said, if anyone want to understand more about these taxes, they could book a call with you. We're sharing here a link, so you can organize a meeting with Joe. Yes, so fine. We've covered the tax benefits, but what else would you say that makes this citizenship a good option for anyone interested in the Caribbean CBI? Why did we go for Grenada?
Well, the Grenada Citizenship by Investment Program provides investors and their family members with a second passport, and that allows them visa-free travel to over 140 countries. That's including the United Kingdom, the EU Schengen countries, China, Russia, and Singapore. And then Grenada citizens, can also apply for the E2 visa. Now, there was a recent change to the program regarding the E2 visa. So now the applicant needs to be domiciled in Grenada for at least 3 years before being able to apply for that E2 visa. And that was just a recent change. It might change back, who knows, but that was a recent update to the program.
Oh, that's an important one. So pay attention, guys.
It's a big factor for the Grenada program is the E2 visa. But with the change, it's important that clients know that now they would have to be domiciled in Grenada for at least 3 years.
Yeah, but whilst being domiciled in Grenada, they can apply for the visa.
After 3 years, yes.
After 3 years, okay, yes. Fine.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
And then also Grenada's investment program allows qualified investors to become global citizens through obtaining citizenship and being granted that second passport. And that's all within a short turnaround period. And then with dual citizenship, you can, call this spectacular island nation your home country, with the beautiful beaches, sublime climate, and the freedom to enjoy visa-free travel for 140 countries. Citizenship by investment in Grenada, there's so many advantages to it. And as we mentioned before on other lives, for business people, it's great to have that passport that you don't have to apply for visas and you can just travel, and it's a lot easier for business people.
Yes, of course. And fine. So I think that's clear, and I can see why the Grenada passport would be a very good investment in the Caribbean. So now let's move on. We covered the investment routes, all the bits and bobs about the investment and the prices, the due diligence fees, government fees, taxes. So now I think the only thing that we have to cover now is the application process. And so how does that, what's the timeline and the turnaround to get your citizenship and passport?
Well, for the processing time, an approval usually takes between 60 to 90 days. If I'm honest, it's taking a little bit longer at the moment because of a backlog of applications, but the general time frame is 60 to 90 days.
Okay.
Once the citizenship application has been submitted to the CBIC, then the Grenadian government will assess each application carefully. They do undertake a strict routine of due diligence process to secure the application approval. It's a very strict process. Then the next point is very important regarding the due diligence process. If the applicant makes a false statement or fails to include relevant information in the citizenship application, it's more than likely going to be declined.
Okay.
So we do say there has to be 100% transparency. Just put everything down that needs to be, on the application, because if you don't and they find it, that's what causes all the problems and the red flags, etc.
Yeah. So the pre-due diligence is a very important step to avoid such mishaps in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we do the pre-due diligence, is just to, make sure that the applicant will be successful, in the application. But again, everything needs to be there, 100% transparent. And then, all should be good. And then once the due diligence checks are approved, and the qualified foreign investors will need to provide the investment into Grenada and the proof of the proof of the investment and the transfer of funds. So they need to send that across to show that they have transferred the money. Following that foreign direct investment, citizenship documents and a Grenadian passport are issued. So they send the money across, the due diligence is done, they show the proof of transfer and the proof of funds. Once the due diligence is done on that transfer, which sometimes does take some time, it's strict due diligence on money being transferred, then once that is approved, then the processing of the passports, etc., starts. And then everything goes well. All the passports are then sent to an address of your choice, and you don't even need to leave home. It's all done from comfort of your own home.
So you actually don't need you have more than many reasons to travel to Grenada to get your passport. But if you're unable to travel, you can actually get it delivered to your home.
Correct.
Anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Wow. Okay. So we covered lots here, and I think it would be useful, perhaps. I don't know if our production team is able to do that now. I mentioned the Grenada Ultimate Guide, which is a page we have on our website. It has basically a lowdown of everything step by step. So everything that we covered here with Joe, but a bit more, because when you're writing, you can expand. You don't have the time limitation. So it talks about eligibility requirements, the total cost, citizenship cost, the routes, the fees, a bit more detailed information about the tax considerations, and the time frame. So if you want, after this live, if you still have some questions, spend some time there and study this page. And you can also, and then afterwards you can call Joe. Your questions will be better constructed if you do this bit of research before you call us. But yeah, so now, Joe, let's open the Q&A. Let's see the questions that you have here. Hang on, we've got one interesting one. Hi, I'm a widow. I want to know if I can apply with my 2 adult children and my parents. How much would it cost?
So, yes, as a widow, you can. You can include adult children under 30 years old. as long as they're supported by you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're older than 30, then they will need to apply separately for the Citizenship by Investment program and make an investment themselves.
Okay.
So below 30, yes. Above 30, they'll have to do a separate application. Now, there's one stipulation, or, that's unless, of course, you have an adult child who is physically or mentally challenged and depends on
Mm-hmm.
you. So if that's the case, then they can be included regardless of age.
Okay.
Then you can include your parents, absolutely, as long as they're also supported by you. So that's a big point. You need to prove that they are being supported by you as a
Mm-hmm.
main applicant. Then if you choose the donation investment route, you'll have to make a minimum contribution of $225,000 for all 5 of you. So if that was the breakdown of the widow with the 2 adult children and the 2 parents.
Okay.
And then if by any chance, which can happen, one of your parents are under 55, then it goes up to 250,000.
Okay.
And then with the real estate, if you choose the real estate route, government fees will be $75,000 for all of you, or $100,000 if any of your parents, again, are under 55.
Okay. So that's very good. Thank you. Can you remind us what family members can be included in the application? Because I think we talked about it right at the beginning.
Sure. So you can include in the application your whole family to start off with. You can add your spouse and the following relatives, either yours or your spouse's children under 30,
Mm-hmm.
parents and grandparents and siblings. The siblings must be unmarried and childless and
Mm-hmm.
over 18 years old.
Okay. Okay, fine. So that's clear. So let's read another question here. An interesting one. I already have dual citizenship. Can I still apply for this program?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. The government of Grenada recognizes not only dual but multiple citizenships. So you can keep your previous 2 nationalities, and if you ever get another one in the future, that's okay also.
Okay.
You can have a plethora of
Of
citizenship or
nationalities.
nationalities.
Yeah, well, the investing in a passport is it's a diversification of your assets, not your portfolio, as in that you will see a return on investment. We need to look at many factors such as security. Some families need to give more to have more mobility. Some individuals need it for more mobility. Some individuals have no passports whatsoever. They're stateless, as we spoke about in our live yesterday. So having a second passport, or a third or fourth, it's something very important. So now let's move on.
I
I
think
was reading. Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say one thing about the word investment. I think, a lot of clients, when they contact us, when you say the word investment, they're thinking of a return on an invested amount of money. And, the donation route, there's no, as they see, sometimes there's no return, but there is a huge return. You're getting, a second passport, a plan B, another nationality. So I think that word investment really applies to the getting a second nationality. I don't think it just is like a monetary.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you there. Fine. So I was reading some questions that came from LinkedIn and Facebook. So let's go here. Right. So there are some interesting questions here, okay, about comparison of programs. And I am going to, so we will talk about that one next week, to the Caribbean week. So we will compare both programs here. A lot of programs, not only Grenada. and Grenada and Dominica and St. Lucia, St. Kitts. Is there any other program that I'm forgetting here? Antigua and Barbuda, and that's it. So
I think you said the 5 of them.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do next week. So what else? So I'm a 49-year-old widower. How much would Grenadian citizenship cost for my 16-year-old son and 21-year-old son? Giselle, your accent's fascinating. Where are you from?
Oh, good. There's a question for you.
There's a question for me. I am originally from Brazil, lived in the UK for a very long time, and I have a bit of a South African twang as well. So hope that answers your question. How about so the Grenadian citizenship, how much it would cost? Joe, would you like to share? So Jonathan, get in touch with Joe and he will share, he will count this cost with you. You just need to click here and you guys can talk about the everything that you need to factor in to before you apply. Right. So what else we have to mention here? Any other highlights, Joe, about this program?
No, I think we've covered most of it, and I just think it's get in contact. I'm more than happy to have a call, and different families have different breakdowns. Families might think they can't include a family member. So I think it's always easier just to book a call so we can go over the breakdown and work out what the best option is for the family.
Okay, great. I think that's it. So we covered everything, and unfortunately we've reached the time limit, and so we won't have time for more questions, but your question will not go unanswered. You just need, once we publish the video, you will be able to answer in the questions, the comment section, and Jonathan, you will be in touch with Joe, and what else we can do here for you? Well, you can always watch this live again and again and leave questions. And if you like the idea of becoming a citizen by investments in Grenada, you can book a half-an-hour chat with Joe. And then what else we have to say? Next week, our Caribbean week. And if anyone is watching us from the United States, I have also good news. Joe will be in the country, and they will have a couple of meetings, visiting a few cities. So if you'd like to organize a one-on-one meeting with him, this is also possible. And that's it. Thank you, Joe. I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you Monday.
Bye.
For Caribbean Week, March 27th to March 31st, and discover the perfect opportunity to obtain a second passport. Live in paradise, enjoy a tropical climate, benefit from tax breaks, and also real estate opportunities. With visa-free travel to over 140 countries, Caribbean citizenship is the key to exploring the world. Our team of experts will provide you with personalized advice and a free assessment to help you make the right decision. Get the most up-to-date information on citizenship by investment programs through our social media channels, from exclusive interviews with experts to immersive articles and videos. We'll keep you fully informed throughout the Caribbean Week. Mark your calendars now from March 27th to March 31st and discover why the Caribbean Citizenship by Investment programs are the perfect choice for those who want to live life to the fullest.